Check. I think we're good. I think you can hear me. Hopefully this season isn't a wash. Good luck, Red Sox. I'll be watching the documentary. I'll be watching the documentary too, Jason. Not sure if you're still in here. Bobby Adventures. Hopefully the Red Sox can make the playoffs this year in 24. Wouldn't that be nice? Rick, if you want starters to go 7 innings, you'll need 1,134 innings out of 5 starters. Red Sox do not have that currently. I don't think anyone's asking every one of your stars to go 7 innings. I just don't think that's how baseball works anymore. Hey, Nicholas. Prodigy, what's going on? We're live. What's up, Corbin? What's up, Prodigy? Sounds like the Red Sox care more about making a documentary about a team that played 20 years ago instead of making a good team now. Well, joke's on you. The documentary is also going to be about the 2024 team. What's up, Dill? What's up, Mark? J-Mac, how you doing? Spencer, what's going on? Angel. Wes, how are you? Honestly, I see the documentary stuff as a complete W. Love documentaries. People have been poking fun of it, but it's going to be sick. Yeah, that's sort of my... What's up, Gritty? Colin, how are you? Yeah, I also think there's just a lot of Dennis, hey, Noah, hey, Austin, how are you? I think there's a lot of misinformation about what the documentary actually is and why it's coming about. I see a lot of people being like, oh, it's just another cash grab. The Red Sox realized they weren't going to be good this year, so they tried to put it out. Realistically here, what's going on is this has been in the works for years, right? We've seen it over the course of the day. This documentary is... I'm doing good, Noah. Thanks for asking. This documentary has been in the works since 2021. We also know that FSG isn't getting paid for this documentary, so it's not a cash grab. We also know that it's not being put on by FSG. I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is going to be a PR machine. This is, ownership and Sam Kennedy are going to be all over this thing. They're going to be pushing their narratives and whatnot." But that's just not how it's working, right? That's just not how this goes. Netflix has the final say in everything, and honestly, I think it's going to be kind of cool, right? I think it's going to be kind of cool. I think getting this sort of background look from the Boston Red Sox, specifically because we're Red Sox fans, but just baseball fans in general, are going to get a real behind-the-scenes look at what everything's going to happen, or what everything's going to be over the course of a season. Why they chose the Red Sox, that's a bigger question, right? Because I could think of 3-4 more marketable teams in the Red Sox right now, right? I mean, the Dodgers would probably be super interesting, but again, this was in the works for a couple of years. It's not like Netflix just up and picked a name out of the hat. The Red Sox have been lobbying this for a couple of years now. So I think it's going to be super interesting. FSG has no controls over edits. Yeah, exactly. They don't have final cut say. They don't have anything. They're just allowing Netflix to film their documentary here, and then they're going to use that footage to make a documentary, right? It's not, oh, John Henry, Sam Kennedy, and Tom Warner hired Netflix to do this. They allowed the Red Sox, they allowed Netflix to be able to do this. There's a big difference between the two. It'd take Netflix $5 million to film a doc. Interesting. Why'd they pick us? I think it's because this has been in the works since 2021. The Red Sox are historically thank you so much for subscribing, my friend. The Red Sox are a very historic, very recognizable name, right? So it makes sense that the sort of one of these storied franchises is going to be the first one. And maybe this is just sort of how it came about, right? Kind of like Hard Knocks. Yeah, it's going to be kind of, from what I understand, pretty much exactly like Hard Knocks. There's no way we don't pick up a biggish pitcher before the weekend. I'm feeling it. I like that, JM. I like your feeling. They chose the Red Sox because they're the Red Sox. Yeah. Right. I kind of agree with that, Dill. And yeah, maybe this was hey, we're thinking about doing this, but what we really want to do is this. Why don't we combine the two and make them both about the Red Sox so we get access to all these footage and interviews about the 2024 team, right? There's a multiple different ways you can look at it. I'm just not entirely sure. Like, I've seen a lot of negativity about it. I'm just not entirely sure where the negativity is coming from. If there's someone who thinks this documentary or this following them along throughout the year is a bad thing, I'd love to hear why. What's your favorite baseball player of all time? Yours is Carl Yastrzemski. Mine is favorite baseball player of all time, probably Kevin Youkilis. Signing a top pitcher would be a good intro to the Netflix show. Imagine they just waited. Imagine they've got like 2 deals lined up, one a trade, one a signing, just to wait until this Netflix series picks up so they can get it on camera. That'd be absolutely incredible. If we completely blow the contrast between the series about 04 and the season, will be interesting for sure. Yeah. Negativity is because of the status of the team. Yeah, but I don't think this is going to be following along with wins and losses. I think a lot of what this documentary is going to be about is the behind the scenes stuff. We're going to be able to witness the on-field stuff, right? And whether that goes well or not is, in my opinion, going to be an entirely different entity than the actual Netflix documentary series is. I think what a lot of it's going to look like is, how do guys interact with each other? What do they do off the field with each other? How do they get ready in the morning? What is this front office plan, or not plan, because that would be, that would be tough. I think it would be, how does the front office sort of talk to each other during the season? Or what's a game plan strategy going on? I think that's sort of what the documentary is gonna be. I would have liked the documentary in 2013 instead of 04, but I get it because 04 is historic. Well, it's also the 20-year anniversary. Do you know when it starts? Like, is this during spring training? I honestly don't know. It says they're just following the 2024 season, so maybe they even already started. I'm not entirely sure. One thing I will say is it's got to be like, if I'm Craig Breslow, I'm a little bit like, well, wait a second. Of course, I'm sure they had to have told him, hey, as a caveat to this, by the way, you're going to be on camera for some of the season, right? I think you can't not tell him because, again, this has been in the works since 2021, right? So they had to have let him know. But if they didn't let him know, that's got to be, Craig Breslow's trying to get used to being a legitimate GM in Major League Baseball. He's trying to siphon through how to work his way into making deals and making big signings that he's never really made before. And then he's gonna, and then they're gonna be like, oh yeah, and by the way, nothing you do is gonna be private this season. That would be absolutely ridiculous. That's the one thing where I'm like, well, wait a second here. You know what I mean? Should be fun, especially with the young cast of players this season. I think it'll be fun, yeah. If Netflix doesn't include Red Sea in the documentary will suck and not represent Red Sox Nation. Well, I appreciate that, but there is absolutely no way. There is absolutely no way they're going to contact me to be in this. It'll start with spring training. That's what I need. That's what I read. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I haven't really haven't had the time to dive deep into it, just basically from what I can see. So I'm going to have to dive deep into it, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I think it could be kind of cool. Do you think they need to pay people extra to be filmed behind the scenes and during practices? No, I would assume that part of their contract is we're allowed to either approve people to film you basically whenever you want when you're in the Fenway area, right? When you're in the locker room, or maybe not the locker room, but the clubhouse or the dugout or in the batting cages or in the training fields. I assume that's part of all of their contracts is the Red Sox have the authority to either allow or film them themselves. So I don't think they're getting paid anything extra. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be terrible if they suck. How am I doing tonight? I'm doing good, Salty. To be honest with you, I don't know. It might honestly, it's much more interesting if the Red Sox are a winning team, especially with the team they have on paper right now. But it could also be interesting to see from a Red Sox fan perspective what it was like for the players and the owners and the GMs and stuff to navigate through yet another losing season, right? I don't want that to happen. I'm not saying it'd be more interesting than obviously if the Red Sox, even if the Red Sox are competitive for a wild card, I think it's going to be really fascinating when that documentary comes out. Say they have 85 wins, and they're 2 games out of a wild card spot in their last series of the year, and they end up losing it in game 3 and not being able to get in. That's going to be a really fascinating part of the video as well. So, unless they're like 60 and 102, right? Which they probably won't be, right? They probably will not happen to the Red Sox lose 60 games this season. I think it'll still be interesting. I think there will still be things to be interested in. Hey, Corbin, been watching your videos for years. I just watched the 2018 World Series. I noticed that they look so happy to be playing. So let's get rid of JT and Verdugo and sign JD Martinez. JD Martinez just doesn't make a ton of sense for the team right now, man. Thank you so much for subscribing, Tom. Just doesn't make a ton of sense right now for the team. JD was an awesome person, but I think the team's looking for more versatility. But I appreciate you watching, Leo. Thank you so much. Netflix definitely wants to win, of course. Hey, Corbin. What's up, Carl? Can't help but think that Turner didn't get re-signed because they feel like either Devers or Yoshida is such defensive liabilities. They need to utilize that spot for them. Your thoughts? I think what they want to do is be able to rotate people in and out of that. I think one of the things we saw last year, especially from that left side with Massa, with Devers, they got in their heads a bit, especially defensively. I remember a lot of people were saying, Rafi doesn't care that he's doing bad defensively, and that's definitely not true, right? There was that Houston series where he made like 3 errors. Anthony, thank you. Thank you so much for re-upping your membership. Can we get some claps in the chat for Anthony? Thank you, Anthony. Where Devers was literally slamming himself, right? Because he just kept getting errors after errors after errors. And I think that got into his head a bit. So I think being able to rotate in and out, and sort of a similar situation happened with Massa, right? Where he had a couple bad games defensively, and all of a sudden it was just sort of discombobulated a bit. If they are able to rotate these guys through and say, Massa's having a bad week defensively, let's get O'Neill out there and have Massa take his at-bats from the DH position. Or they have Rafael Devers in the DH position for a couple of days because, hey, he had a bad week, right? There's something to be said about that where it could be extremely, extremely significant in the way both Rafi and Massa produce this year. Thank you so much for your gifted membership, Anthony. I appreciate you, my friend. Harrison, welcome in. Not a fan of the rotating DH. I think it could be useful. Don't ever be sorry, Anthony. No problem, my friend. I think it could be useful. I appreciate that, Griffin. Thank you. Think we're giving up Kenley Jansen to get a starting pitcher? Kenley's not going to get you a starting pitcher. First year GM at the deadline should provide some drama. Yeah, I think the on-field play is going to be a lot different than what we see in the documentary. I think the documentary is going to be a lot about the sort of outside information that we don't see from inning 1 to inning 9. And I think we're going to see, even if it has a losing season, I think there's going to be a lot of interesting parts of it. Do you think Massa will have a better offensive year? Yeah, I think Massa will have a lot better offensive year than what we saw. If Turner wanted to be in Boston, he could have stayed. He chose to opt out. Money was more important than being in Boston. Not entirely true, Warrior. I think he just wanted to get paid what he was worth. He ended up making about the same amount of money as he would have made in Boston, but I think initially going into the offseason, the actual market for outfielders and power outfielders, older DH types, isn't very good right now, and I don't think he realized that going into the offseason. So I don't think it was, hey, I want to leave Boston because I want to leave Boston. He wanted to get paid what he was worth, and I think that's totally fair. If they trade Durant, I'm a Braves fan and out. I love Jarren Durant. I think he's a fantastic person, fantastic player as well. But if you can get Jesus Luzardo, or you can get Braxton Garrett, or you could get Logan Gilbert in a package, and Jarren Durant's the main piece for that, I don't understand the reason to say no. What's the bigger need right now? A young outfielder or a legit frontline starting pitcher? Silver linings of the Sox could pick up some nice future draft picks. They lose a ton of games this year. I really don't think they're going to lose a ton of games. Slayer, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you so much. Anthony, who's been here 11 months, almost a year. He says, realistically, do you see ownership spending right up until the first luxury tax threshold? No. Do you see 3-team trades in Major League Baseball? Yeah, there are 3-team trades. It's very rare, though. It's very rare. Benintendi Part 2, anyone? What has Benintendi done since he left the Red Sox that makes you say, man, we should have had Benintendi? Did the Red Sox make an offer to Justin Turner? They did not. Who do you think is due for a breakout season for us this year? I think Story. Story's a good one. Story's a really good one. Story's probably the answer. I would say O'Neal's probably an interesting one here. And then I would say either Willie or Abreu in terms of just like breakout rookie type thing. And I would say Masataka Yoshida. Signing Duvall, DH Massa, and I feel pretty confident in at least fighting chance this season. I just don't. Duvall to me he's fine, right? He's not this is the player that's going to make the team competitive. That's the problem, right? He's not the team that's going to be like, "Oh, this is now a competitive team." It's just not who he is. It's not who he ever has been, right? He's never been. Like when you look back, like Adam Duvall had I would say 3 really good weeks with the Red Sox. But there was a couple months there where he just wasn't producing. He was hurt. And over his career, right, he's played 10 years. He only has 1, 2, 3, 4 of those 10 years over 100 games. He's only played a legitimate full season 3 of those years. Right? And in every single one of those years, he was either league average or slightly below league average. So it's not like, hey, you're getting Adam Duvall, this season's turned around. For me, you're getting Adam Duvall and you're just adding depth. He's now another outfielder that you can plug and play. Do I see Refsnyder re-signing? Not because he's bad, but because there's just too many outfielders. So if they trade Massa, what would happen, Corbin? If the Red Sox traded Masataka Yoshida, I think, one, they would have to eat a lot of his salary, which would just be stupid. You're paying a second-year player to play for another team. I don't love that idea. 2, you're really ruining your relationship with a lot of Japanese players coming over. It's seen as disrespectful to trade a Japanese player this quickly into their contract, which a lot of talent, top talent that's going to be coming into MLB over the next 3-4 years, probably more by the time we get a decade in here, is going to be coming from Japan. To have that sort of weighing over your head, to me, it's just really stupid. What are our options at catcher? It's Reese and Connor. And then they've got another guy on the 40-man called Tyler Heineman. They should get Eloy Jimenez. That trade would be interesting. Hey, Corbin, so re-sign Duvall and utilize him as one of those swinging outfielders and DHs? Yeah, that's essentially what you do with him, right? Re-signing Adam Duvall wouldn't put you in a position where he is your everyday DH. He's never been that type of player. What he would do is he would allow you to sort of move around your outfield a bit. Now you got 5 options you can play around with your outfield. He does have some first base experience. You get Tristan Casas off his feet once in a while, right? So you're putting him in here as an outfield utility guy who's got those weeks where he's absolutely insane. That's basically it. Any good Japanese players coming in 25? Roki Sasaki. I'm sure there's going to be a couple other ones. Muratami's coming over 2027, I think. Prodigy, no. Out of our three top prospects with Myers, Teal, and Roman, who has the best chance to start this year in the show? None of them. None of them are going to be in the major leagues to start the year. You'll only watch the NPB. I totally agree, Spencer. I think this is going to be big for Tristan, but I'm even thinking about like Tristan's sort of the obvious pick in terms of who's going to get their personality out there the most, but I think it's going to be really beneficial for players like Tyler O'Neill, who's quiet, reserved, or Jarren Duran, or say Don Rafael, who's got this big personality but doesn't really have a ton of options to show it all that much. This will be a great sort of stepping point for them to be sort of nationally recognized as, hey, that's that funny guy from the Netflix documentary series. That's that really intense person. I also think Nick Pivetta could be a really interesting person as well. Do you think Red Sox prospects rankings were a little bit disappointing? Weren't they ranked 13th? I wouldn't say disappointing. I would say unfortunately realistic, right? When you break it into subcategories, you talk about the Red Sox positional prospects, you're talking about a top 5 positional prospect in Major League Baseball, right? With the depth, not only just the top 4 guys in your system that are on every single MLB pipeline, every single MLB top 100 prospect list, but also the depth behind them. You've got guys like Miguel Blaze, Nazan Zanatello, Yoelin Cespedes, all these other very young players who are sort of creeping their way towards a top 100 ranking. Then you've got depth pieces, really interesting, maybe sort of fringe top 100 guys, right? They're not going to ever crack a top 100, but they're going to get pretty close, maybe top 200 in Major League Baseball, like Nick York, like Nico Cavadas, like Blaze Jordan, like Wilkerman Gonzalez, like Luis Paredes, like Luis Guerrero, right? So you've got all these really interesting prospects in there, and you think about it, you break it up into prospects that play a position or prospects that pitch, and there's an entirely different story here. You've got a top 5 farm system here, and you've got a bottom 3 top farm system over here, and that's why you sort of meet them in the middle, and the top 5 drags it up a little bit, but not enough to put you in a top 10. I said it in my video when I talked about where every single Red Sox prospect ranks on a top 100 list. If the Red Sox had just one singular top 100 starting pitching prospect, they'd probably be very easily a top 10 farm system in Major League Baseball. Because they get weighed down a bit. So I wouldn't say disappointing. I would say disappointingly realistic. What do you think about all these unsigned free agents so close to camp? I've heard Cody Bellinger hasn't even had an offer yet. I think it's really interesting. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the top 4 guys are all Boris candidates. I think that has a lot to do with it. Yeah, I don't know. It's super annoying is what it is, right? Because what you're stuck with are these rumors and rumors and rumors. And, after a while, it can get frustrating, especially when you're the Red Sox, right, who as fans, haven't done a single thing this entire offseason, right? So it gets really, really frustrating. But I think ultimately the Jordan Montgomerys, the Blake Snells, the Cody Bellingers, they just aren't getting the market that they thought they were going to and are still trying to edge that market out. They're still trying to say, hey, we wait another week, maybe a team gets desperate. We wait another month, maybe a team gets desperate. We wait another 3 days, maybe a team gets desperate, right? So they're just sort of hoping and praying that someone along these lines here, as you get towards spring training, you get a freak announcement that, the Philadelphia Phillies, knock on wood, this doesn't happen. Aaron Nola needs Tommy John surgery, or Zach Wheeler busted his knee carrying a box up the stairs at his new apartment or house or whatever, right? That's sort of what you'd be hoping for when you're waiting out, because your market just isn't what it was supposed to be going into it. And I think that has a lot to do with why they're waiting it out, because they aren't getting the offers they're getting. But from a fan perspective and from a content creator perspective, it's absolutely miserable. That would be sick, Spencer. Could you see Costas and Devers an underrated hitting duo? They already are an underrated hitting duo, yes. I don't know how he made you mad last season, Harrison. What are you talking about? You like my perspective on the series? Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, the Netflix series isn't that serious. If the Red Sox had signed if none of the full throttle comments came out this offseason and the Red Sox were like, look, we are focused from the very beginning. They said we are focused on ensuring this young core is as successful as it could possibly be. And then the Netflix series came out. I don't think people would have had a problem with it. I actually think most people would be excited about it, but because you've had such a tumultuous offseason and a large majority of fans are mad at everything and anything regarding the Boston Red Sox right now, it's turned into this negativity, PR campaign, feed the monster type thing when in reality, right? It's just a Hard Knocks. It's just a documentary. It's not going to change anything. And this was already in the works well before the season, even off season even began, right? Yeah, Prodigy, I think they already are. I think Grissom's going to be decent this year. I think Grissom will be a really solid pickup for the Sox. The timing of the announcement's kind of sketchy. I really don't think, I think that's what's going on. I think a lot of what's going on is Red Sox fans, myself included, are upset. So your first thought is, oh, this is a PR machine. This is to turn everything around for the Red Sox. But again, they've been working on this for a year, 2 years. A million different things could have happened between, licensing agreements, approvals from the league, approvals from stadiums, approvals from the Players Association, and just one of those factors just had to come into fruition today. That's it, right? That's absolutely everything. You finally get the last permission. It just so happens to be today. I really don't think it's some sort of crazy conspiracy that the Red Sox put this out today because, so-and-so happened a couple of weeks ago. I'm excited about the Red Sox Netflix show. I'm upset with the front office, though. Yeah. I feel like Grissom's going to give a Pedroia-like effect of just a good contact hitter that could be a bit of a spark plug. I don't know. Putting Pedroia on Grissom's a lot, right? Because then you're also expecting the defense. Grissom's not going to be a world-class defender, right? I think the bat I'm kind of hoping Grissom can be is a less powerful Justin Turner. If he could just get on base, get base runners in when needed, get on base, to continue to do that, singles, doubles, right? Hard guy to strike out, then I think we're in for a treat with him, but I wouldn't put Pedroia on him. But I understand what you're saying. Corbin, you think Devers will hit 35 home runs and bat 280? I could see him hitting 35 home runs. 280, that'd be a monster year, an absolute monster. He could do it. I don't know if he's going to do it. I smell a move this week, a Craig Shocker. Interesting. I don't know. There's been a lot of Kenley trade rumors. At some point, that's got to go down. I don't think, and on top of that, too, you got to think that at least Montgomery and Snell specifically, because they're pitchers, aren't going to want to wait 2 weeks into spring training and have a shortened spring training as they go to their new team. And then they got to figure out where to live. They got to figure out how to move. They're going to want to sign before spring training. Pitchers are the most habitual makes the most sense. Habitual people on the planet, right? They need that constant repetitiveness to continue what they're doing, or they're going to fall off track. So I think we see Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell, what is spring training, pitchers and catchers report on Valentine's Day. It's now the 7th. So they've got a week, right? They've got 1 week to figure it out. I would bet they sign this weekend, those two specifically. I don't know about position plays, you can kind of get away with it. We saw what it did to Story, though, and that messed Story up a lot at the beginning of the year. So I don't know. I have a question. Why would we want to trade a closed and leadoff hitter when that's the two biggest needs we had from 2020 to 2022? Well, I'll answer the closer question first. I think the reason you trade Kenley is because you have options to replace him in the bullpen, right? The difference between the 2022 team where they were terrible out of the bullpen and the difference between and the 2024 team is that you've got a ton of young, talented arms in there this year, right? You've got a fully experienced Tanner Houck, a fully experienced Garrett Whitlock, a fully experienced John Schreiber, Josh Winkowski, Chris Martin. You've got a Nick Pivetta you could slot in there, right? You've got other options already on the team, and you need to and the arbitrary luxury tax threshold the Red Sox have put on themselves, which is what they spent last year, is the main reason you trade them. But trading the 35, 36-year-old closer who had a lot of health issues last year and is, not going to get any better this year considering his age does kind of make some sense. In terms of the leadoff hitter, everyone's sort of just shot back at me on the Jarren Duran stuff. I get it. Jarren Duran was awesome. He's also 27. He's also only had one good season in Major League Baseball. It wasn't even a full season because he got injured. And there's your issues right there, right? So if you're the Red Sox and you're thinking to yourself, okay, we have 5 outfielders on the Major League roster. If we get a Duvall or a Chris Taylor or something like that, that's 6. Then you've got Seidan, who's a couple tweaks away from getting up here, and Roman Anthony, who's making about as many possible waves as you could possibly make on your way up to the major leagues, right? Next year you'll have 7 options outside of Rob Refsnyder and Tyler O'Neill. You'll have 5 options in the outfield next year, including Jarren Duran, right? But what you don't have is a frontline starting pitcher, and the difference is you don't have a frontline starting pitcher coming up over the next couple of years. You don't have a frontline starting pitcher a couple tweaks away from making the major leagues, right? At some point, you got to look at what's your bigger need and how can I get that in terms of value. And if you're not going to spend for it, you're going to have to trade for it. And these are the types of trades you got to make at some point. You see the comment where Kennedy mentioned that Theo's role is a stopgap to another position / role. Yeah, it makes sense. I think ultimately what Theo was brought in to do right now, here's how I think the conversation went. And look, this is all speculation. This isn't me telling you this is fact. This is just speculation on mine based on everything we've seen so far. I think the conversation was, Theo, we really need you in here to help with the Boston Red Sox. We think we've lost sight of where we need to be with this team. We have too many things in the portfolio. And Theo's like, well, that's great, but I'm not interested in being a GM again. I'm not interested in being a CBO again. If I'm coming back, I want a piece of the pie, and I want to put my name on something. And so the Red Sox thought to themselves, okay, if we just make him a senior advisor now, we allow him, we say, look, we'll give you, once we expand in the NBA or once we expand into whatever league is next, right, we will allow you to have more of a hand in that pot than what you would have had in any other pot. But in the meantime here, why don't you help out the Red Sox? Why don't you help out the Red Sox in the meantime? Get Craig Breslow to where you think he needs to be. Make sure that everything that we're doing is as attentive as possible to this team. That way it's on the right track, so when you leave, everything's going smoothly as opposed to sort of just crashing and burning as it is right now. So yeah, like saying it's a stopgap role turned a lot of people off really quickly, but I think that's always what it was. Trade him for Cease. Who? Duran? I would be nervous trading Duran for Cease because of the lack of control. If I'm trading Duran personally, I'm going for a young, legit starting pitcher. I would even consider Edward Cabrera, but I'd realistically want, and it'd be part of a bigger package. It wouldn't just be Duran, but you'd want something like, also, what's up, Mike? I feel like I haven't seen you yet. Oh, darn, didn't know you were streaming today. Just saw it. I would want more control. I'd want a higher ceiling as well if you're going to trade someone like Duran. If you're going to package, say you package, I don't want to put Kenley in there because it diminishes value, but let's just say you want to trade them all together. So you do Kenley, Duran, York, and Valdez because those are two guys you think are expendable in your minor league system. Is that enough to get him, to get a Luzardo? Is that enough to even get a Cease based on what the Chicago White Sox are asking? I don't know, but that's sort of where you need to be looking because, if we as fans can understand that, hey, Duran's got value. If he is on the team in 24, he will be a valuable player. You got to assume that the Red Sox ownership and management understand that as well. Duran's not that good. He have value, but trade him for somebody because he is not that good. What's he not that good at, Jacob? I'm genuinely asking. Because the only argument you can make about Jarren Duran's season last year is injury, because he got that turf toe? I don't really remember. And that he was a league average defender. Outside of that, yeah, he was that good last year. Do you see the Red Sox drafting a pitcher in the first round of the amateur draft? I don't know. I don't even know where the Red Sox, what are they picking, 13th or 14th? It's a little risky. It's really risky drafting a pitcher in your first round, unless it's like a slam dunk. You think it's like a slam dunk? It's really risky. Guys are getting Monty. Imagine if we get Jordan Montgomery live, I'll throw a party. I'll throw an absolute party. Padres should trade for Duran. Yeah, Evan, I think with Duran, his expected batting average is always going to be lower than his actual batting average, at least while he's utilizing his speed, just because he uses his speed to get on base. So it's always going to be a bit lower. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. Yeah, I'm sure there's some luck in that. Yeah, I'm sure those numbers are going to fall a little bit, but they can also stay right where they are because, again, he's the type of dude who a ground ball into the hole where the second baseman's really got to lay out for it's probably a hit, where most guys it's probably not. Or the shortstop's got to take 2 steps to his right, throw it over his shoulder. Rafael Devers, that's not a hit. Everyone else, that's a hit. Everyone else that's not a hit, Jarren Duran, that's a hit, right? So it's always going to be a bit higher. It's just the type of player he is. Montgomery would make this rotation dangerous. Totally agree, Eric. Padres should trade for Duran. That's what I was going to look at. Who on the Padres would we even want as Red Sox fans, though? Like, if you're trading Duran, again, in my opinion, you're going for a young, controllable starter. The Padres don't really have that unless they want to trade Michael King, and they're not going to trade Michael King. They just got him. They just traded the 3rd or 4th best player in the entire league for Michael King. They're not going to, you know what I mean? They're not going to give him back. Bogey. All right, Kennedy, give me Monty. Actually, what's the trade for Luzardo look like? If it's a college pitcher that has a good health history, might get a Clemens. You might, but you also might get a Strasburg. All right, who was solid for a while, and then he had a ton of injuries. Let's trade for Musgrove. Musgrove, I would definitely at least consider putting Duran on the table for. I mean, this again, these are the type of players you want to put on the table. If you're the Red Sox and you're like, oh, you're interested in Jarren Duran? Who's our second base this year? We're giving Nick York and a Fenway Frank with extra ketchup. Man, you guys absolutely fleeced them. Announce Montgomery, though. Like Joe Musgrove, right? 31. Free agent till he's. Thank you so much for joining and becoming a member. Evan, can we get some claps in the chat? He's a free agent until he's 2028, so you get about the same level of control. Then you look at over the last 3 seasons, really. He was really good. Last year, he didn't put up a ton of. He was injured, right? Obviously. This year, 22, 30 starts, 2.93 ERA, All-Star. How did he not get Cy Young votes? 3.59 FIP, 9.1 with a 2.1 walk rate, right? 2021, 3.18 ERA, 3.70 FIP. So he's getting a bit lucky on the mound. I think a lot of that has to do with San Diego's defense, but he's really, really solid pitcher. If that's who the Red Sox are going after with the San Diego Padres and they put Jarren Duran on the table, I don't think I would be super upset about it. Yeah, they aren't going to trade Mitch Keller, anyone. Mitch Keller scares me a little bit. Sam, you just told me you're giving me Montgomery or Luzardo tonight. What's the switch up here? Mitch Keller scares me a little bit. He doesn't get a ton of swing and miss. He gets a lot of strikeouts, but not a ton of swing and miss. Doesn't get a lot of chases on pitches out of the zone. Gets barreled up a bit. His expected ERA is below average. His expected batting average is below average. He was right above average on pitching run value. If they could fix his breaking ball, maybe. Let's see what he got. His cutter was getting smoked last year. His cutter was getting hit at a 5.06 slug. His curveball was even worse. That was getting crushed. 273 average, 614 slug against. That's nuts. Of the 12 hits off his curveball, 4 of them were home runs. That's crazy. Yeah, Musgrove was injured last year. What's up, Pac-Man? Henry put me in timeout and took away my toys. Monty and Luzardo. Sam, always switching up. Don't you think if they're making a film on the Sox this year, they'd want some stud pitching? You would think that, William. You would think that. You would think that. How does Mitch Keller scare you? I just told you, Mike. I don't know if you're behind a little bit on the stream, but he scares me because his outlying stats, his sort of StatCast stats scare me a little bit. Corbin, did you see your comment? Your comment? Versatility on here? No. Also, hello. Oh, so are you as confused as me about why we would pick this year to have a crap off season with a documentary coming that they knew about for 3 years? Yeah, I am. Yes, versatility, I am. I don't know what to tell you. I have no idea why they decided. Well, I understand why they decided this season because it was probably decided in 2021 that they were going to do 2024, right? They probably have had talk about this for a while, but you knew about this for a while. So, why didn't you go after this? I think, maybe also they're seeing the reaction to some of this and they're saying, oh, whoa, hey, wait a second. Maybe they're right. Sorry, versatility. I didn't mean to miss that. I got wrapped up in something else, I think. They spend the Netflix money on some Titleist golf balls and a new putter. There's no Netflix money. They're not getting paid. What about Duran plus a prospect or two for Framber Valdez? Bad teams is more drama? Framber Valdez. He's a lefty. I like that. I like that Framber's a lefty. He was good last year, man. But again, he's got some. There's a reason if the Houston Astros are putting this guy on the block, that scares me a bit. He's been so good for so long. Why? They just don't want to re-sign him. I mean, the batted ball data is not great. Hard hit percentage, he was in the 6th percentile on all Major League Baseball. Average exit velo, he was getting crushed. Expected batting average, he was getting crushed. Barrel percentage, he was right around average. Not getting a ton of swing and misses, not getting a ton of chases. Huge ground ball pitcher, but what does that look like with the Boston Red Sox, Who did the Giants TV show? I don't even remember the Giants having a TV show. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., $19.9 million in arbitration just now. Hell yeah. Just imagine hours after the Netflix announcement, we signed Belly, Monty, and Snell. There's no way they're signing Belly, but imagine they get Monty and Snell. That'd be nuts. Is it public how much the Sox are getting for this? $0. This is probably the most confusing offseason in my 40-ish years following the Sox. Yeah, I've seen that a lot. And yeah, I this entire offseason, that's been my response right there. Because there's no words. I don't have any words for it. None. It's just, yeah, it's never any move they make. The only one that I thought was like, oh, wow, was the Chris Sale, right? Chris Sale for Vaughn Grissom was, I can't believe they traded him. And then all of a sudden it was, this actually makes a lot of sense when you break it down. Someone told me I was an idiot for thinking that trade makes sense, but I'm dying on that hill. It made sense. Slayer. Yeah, Dill, you picked a bad you did pick a bad offseason to start being a Red Sox fan. I'll tell you that much. If Houston's walking away, be careful. Caveat emptor. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. Hey, Corbin, you think the Red Sox make any bigger moves this offseason? Do I think they'll make a big move? I don't know. To be honest with you, I think we do see some moves, Aiden. I don't know about the scale of big it's gonna be. It means buyers beware. Oh, thank you. Yeah, what is that? Latin? Let the buyer beware. Okay. What's up, Jonathan? Thanks for watching from the DR, man. Are you excited? I saw the documentary, or the slight documentary on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. being the cover athlete. That made me want to go to the DR so bad, dude. It looks so nice down there. You want Whit Merrifield at second base? Isn't Whit? Didn't Whit sign with the team? There's no way Whit's still a free agent, right? Wow, Whit's still a free agent? Jeez, everyone's still a free agent. That's crazy. Need to visit Big Poppy's hometown? Yeah, that looks so nice. Yeah, I don't want Whit. To be honest with you, I never really wanted Whit. It felt like Whit was going to be the option, but that was also when we still thought Yamamoto was an option. Yeah, Whit to me is just sort of nothing, right? Yeah, Dennis, they have been. How many free agents are still left this offseason? I think it's over half still. I think it's like 52 or 53% of free agents are still on the board this year. It's crazy. Yeah, it does, Hardneck. That's what I keep telling myself. Like, it genuinely feels like the Red Sox are just waiting out the market. I think, and obviously that's for Jordan Montgomery, in my opinion. Right? They're probably not waiting out the market on Blake Snell. They're definitely not waiting out the market on Cody Bellinger. I'd be shocked if they're waiting out the market on Matt Chapman. And then the rest of those guys, the rest of the guys on the free agent list, they're still 42 or 52% of the free agents or whatever. Those are the four guys that are going to be legit impact players. So yeah, it does feel like that. And I keep digging down the back of my head, Hardneck, where I'm like, man, there's a good chance they're just waiting out the market like they've done countless times before. Like other teams have done before. Honest, better question. Do you think that they make any impactful moves? Anything more than a 1-year signing? Yeah, I think they'll sign someone more than 1 year. It won't be much more than 1 year, but I think it'll be more than 1 year. If they missed out on all three of Monty, Snell, and Soler, are you guys still going to Fenway? Man, they got me. The promotions people, they got me. They got me good. They got Tequila Taco Night. They got Harry Potter Red Sox sweatshirt night. I already bought tickets. Love it. Yamamoto went from being a real free agent to, wow, I'm an idiot, to ever thinking he was ever an option. Yeah, that's sort of exactly where it went. if Grissom going to be our go-to second baseman, what are we going to do with Valdez and King Pablo? I think Valdez will be help with a left to right matchup maybe. Grissom's facing a really tough righty. They could throw him in there. Reyes will just be your sort of everyday utility guy. Thoughts on Big Maple to L.A.? I think he's going to be nasty in L.A. If we were to do a trade with Duran, it should be Duran and Nick York for Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams, I don't even know who that is, so no. Corbin has been sold in the Red Sox on the Fenway experience. Oh, dude, I thought the same thing. Oh, dude, I got sold so hard on the Fenway experience, dude. People are gonna hate me for it. I got sold so hard on the Fenway experience. They put out the stuff in all fairness, you guys have to see these sweatshirts. Like they're sick. I don't know what to tell you. They look really cool. It was $41 for both a ticket and the sweatshirt. Come on now. Like what do you want me to do? Say no to that? Guys, I'm still making content, right? So it's not like I'm, boycotting the season or anything. I mean, look at these things, right? How? Like the Gryffindor one is fresh as hell. So I don't want to hear anything. Yeah, I got sold. Yeah, I got sold. And then obviously it's taco tequila night. What am I going to say no to that? How the heck do I get this thing back on here? Hello? There we go. Trade for Tariq Skubal. Mike, you've been saying that for a while, man. I'm kind of in on it. Does that come in a hoodie? No, it's just like a crew neck. Crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, Fenway Park is something you got to do before you die, especially if you're a Red Sox fan. I don't care that the team sucks. I just want to have fun. Do we have a Discord? Yeah, is Jackson in here? Jackson. Detroit won't trade him? I don't know. I can share a link, Dill. That'll work. Who's my least favorite MLB team right now? It's either, this is going to, people, I have to tell a story about this. It's either the Orioles or the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays because they just beat the hell out of us and every game's just super tight and either close or they just beat us up. Or it's the Orioles. And the reason it's the Orioles is because fans, the Yankees don't scare me anymore. I'm done. Oh, yeah, I might not let you send link, Dylan. That might be on me. I should have I put up a command for it, but it stopped sending. And I'm gonna say it's the Blue Jays and the Orioles, and the reason it's the Blue Jays because they beat up on us, and the reason it's the Orioles is because their fans are the worst. Fans are the absolute. Why? You've sucked for years, and me and my girlfriend went to last series of the year. I think they played the Orioles, right? Yeah, I think it's the Orioles. Yeah, it was the last series of the year, and this guy was talking like he was, like he was part of the Yankee dynasty in the 20s. I was like, dude. He was like, all Red Sox fans are a-holes. You guys deserve the crap team you've got. We're going to rule this division for years to come. And it's like, okay, well, you got a good team, and now you got a new owner and stuff, but all John Henry has to do is wake up, and we're right back to being an extremely competitive division, right? That's all they have to do. And it's not exactly like you guys are the only team in the division with multiple top 50 prospects. The other team, that's the Boston Red Sox. So, yeah, that made me so mad. So now I hate the Orioles too. And I also hate them because that's what I want the Red Sox to be. They're a fun team to watch. They've got, they're literally like a brotherhood. They're literally a brotherhood, so it's hard for me. Hey, does anyone know a lot about audio, like microphone audio? Did I read the Over the Monster article about the owners? They make a lot, so depends. What's my opinion on Carly Yastrzemski? One of the greatest of all time. It's so nice to see Henry admit that they need Theo because the Red Sox isn't always a focus for him. Appreciate the honesty. I think that, Robbie, I think that's genuinely one of the most legitimately underrated parts of the Theo signing. Is I think people have sort of skipped right over it, right? Because it's like maybe people don't. It was just a small one-sentence line, right? But I think that being said speaks volume as to sort of the direction of this team as of right now, and I think a lot of people. I think genuinely a lot of people didn't really pick up on that, but I think it's really important that ownership was like, hey, look, we realize that the Red Sox weren't our top priority the last couple of years. Maybe it is not this year, right? Let's fix that. Let's fix that and let's get our cash cow here back to where it should be. Now the question here is, Robbie, and this is where it gets kind of scary, right? Did they realize this a year ago, and they've been trying to get, because Sam Kennedy said he's been working on this for a while. Now, did they realize this a year ago, and it's taken convincing to get Theo here, or did ownership just realize, hey, maybe we should get someone in here? Because if it's I just realized, that's scary, right? If I just realized, that's scary. If it's we've been trying to get him for a year here, and we've got so much going on right now, it's hard for me to pay attention. We didn't trust Heim. We don't entirely trust Craig yet. Then okay, maybe we let it work, but yeah, it could be scary too. Gavin Williams is 25 years old. He went 3-5, 3.28 ERA, 120, and is signed till 2030. Oh, because. Yeah, maybe Prodigy, but that's a pretty big haul for a guy who's only pitched 16 games ever. If I were the Red Sox, I'd want something a little bit bigger. Strike up their old rivalries. They should be. I mean, they're playing a little bit more now, which will be interesting. I wonder if we'll see any like cross division rivalries. It's just hard to do that because even if you play 5-6 series, let's say, against the Braves at some point, you're still not competing with them for a division title or anything. So it's hard to have that sort of rivalry that a Dodgers and basically the rest of the NL East, West, or the Phillies and the Braves, or the, you know what I mean? It's just not. Corbin, what is my expectation on Cutter Crawford? My expectation for Cutter is an under 4 ERA this year. And I'm not saying like a 3.2, 3.3, but I genuinely think this year from Cutter Crawford, we should get a 3.8, 3.9. What's my favorite Red Sox jersey? I really like the blue Red Sox jerseys. Expectation for Bayo. I think Bayo takes a big step up this year, and I'll tell you exactly why. Last year, when you look at it, right, even if you look at, why the heck is this so zoomed in? Even if you look at minor leagues, so we'll do majors and minors for Brian Bayo. There's a big reason, in my opinion, why he sort of fell off a cliff, because people forget Bayo was one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball for like 2 of those middle months, right? And he started with that injury. So here's the thing I'm looking at. Brian Bayo last season pitched 157 innings. The highest he had done before that was in 25 starts in 2019, and that was only 117 innings. That's a big jump to make. Hey, Noah, that's a big jump to make, right? That's a huge ground to make up. And for your first time ever doing that, a 4.24 really isn't all that bad, right? It's an above average. Yeah, he'll be more conditioned. He's more used to a full major league season. He only missed 5 starts last year. He's been down in Fort Myers, Florida, starting his routine since winter weekend. It's been 3 weeks now. He's already been pitching or warming himself up since it's been one. So he left Sunday, 1, 2. Yeah, 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks. He's worked again with Pedro Martinez. He's got Andrew Bailey now. They're gonna have an entirely new way of him looking at pitching. I think it's gonna be a big difference. $30 starts for Cutter. Hopefully you get a 25 quality starts with a 3.90 ERA. That is kind of what I'm looking at. Maybe not quality would be nice, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. Appreciate you stopping by, Evan. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. I think Houck could be a good starter. Houck need to control his movement, and he'll be super good. Houck needs a third pitch. That's really what he needs. The Red Sox are partnering with Netflix. Yeah, they've got a documentary series coming out. What's up, Vader? Coming down to see any games in Family South? I couldn't get the time off of work, man. I tried to because I had a possible way to interview some players down there, at least minor league players, but I couldn't get the time off of work, so I can't. Am I excited for the Red Sox documentary series? Yeah, I am. I am excited for that. Congratulations on 9K, by the way. Thanks, Dill. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, chat. We are, I think, about 900 subscribers away from 10,000. That'd be nuts. Hopefully we get that. Hopefully we get that before the season starts, which is what, March 20-something? What's up, Joey? March 20-something, I think. That's the goal. When do pitchers report to camp? February 14th. The league leader in quality starts was like 7 people. People just don't give you quality starts anymore. I think giving you 5 innings of quality start-ish is what you want, right? So if Cutter can give you 25 starts of 5-ish innings that would normally be quality starts. Eric, I see that tattoo comment. All right. Here's what I'll say. I want you guys, if you need to, record this. Yeah, see, now other people are saying it, Eric. See, you did this to me. Face tat? Yeah, see, this is where it always goes, Eric. It always lands with a face tat. Not gonna get if you did 25 starts with 6+ innings and 3 or less runs, you'd be Randy Johnson. That's just not how today's game is played. If you could do 5 innings, 3 runs, average every start out, you're a really solid pitcher. And I think that'd be like a little bit over 4 ERA for most of the year. All right, so here's what I'll say. All right, Chad, I'm making a decree that, why am I so, Ooh, Chad, I kind of like this. Set the mood a little bit. Kind of like this lighting. All right, here's what I'll say. I will get the red seat tatted on me at 10,000 subscribers. You mark that down, because I will. I will do it at 10. The 5,000 made me nervous because I was like, oh, man, what if 5,000's the peak? Like, it'll never be, you know what I mean? Like, that would suck if I had to look at that every day and say, oh, man, that's what it could have been. But 10,000 subscribers, I'm a bit more comfortable. So you can put that down. So someone could take note of that. At 10,000 subscribers, I will do it. 6 innings should be a quality start. 5 innings means the bullpen pitches 1 less inning. Starters are getting paid significantly more and should produce more. Back tat is the best. Hurts the least. Maybe I'll get it on what about my shoulder blade? Yeah, Robbie, I think they should produce more. The other thing too is they pitch a lot more innings. So even if they go 5 innings average out every single start, they're still going to give you more innings. Where's the tattoo going? I don't know. Does 10,000 subscribers give me and Red Sea Radio? I wouldn't say better status. I'm not even sure. Let's see. What does 10,000 subscribers on YouTube get you? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot, but it does sort of make you a little bit more make you a bit more verified, right? So if I go up to there's a big difference if I go up to, say, Jaron Duran, right? I'm trying to get Jaron Duran for an interview, and I say, hey, I got 6,000 subs on my YouTube channel, but versus, hey, I got 10,000 subscribers, right? That's sort of the big difference. Calf wasn't too bad. 7 innings and a 3-headed monster. That died I don't even know, 10 years ago. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Richard Fitz. I think he'll be an X factor in the bullpen or as a starter. Honestly, Richard Fitz is a really interesting case for me. There's a reason the Red Sox brought him to Winter Weekend. I think a lot of people they brought to Winter Weekend they have high hopes for. I spelt his name wrong. I hate when I do that. You look at Richard Fitz, and he was really good. He's been really good for the last 2 years. He had 152 innings in Double-A last year. That's really impressive. You made a clip of me for the tattoo comment? Damn it, Robbie. Eric, it would be hilarious if... Okay, I can't do this. This light's making me look bright red. I feel like this one makes me look ghostly. Let's go back to this one. It would be hilarious if the Netflix documentary is Full Throttle Inside the Boston Red Sox. Yeah, that'd be funny. Fitz is fine, but he's in Double-A right now. He threw 152 innings in Double-A. He'll probably be in Triple-A to start the year this year. I'd actually be pretty surprised if he starts in Double-A, unless the Red Sox, they're revamping everything and they want to see they want to see what he's doing before they put him into Triple-A. But that's one of the big reasons you get a Tyler Heineman and a Roberto Perez for your AAA affiliate, right? Not only because they give you depth at the major league level, but because they're also very talented major league catchers that are going to be helping guys like Richard Fitz, Wilkerman Gonzalez, and other people. No, Joe. Kind of wish. No. It's just a mix of rosacea and bright yellow lighting. Right, that's sort of why you get those minor league signing catchers that have had relatively successful defensive catching careers at the major league level. That's why you want to get them. Liars, the story, the Full Throttle Liars story of the 24 Red Sox. Corbin, with the team we have, what's your estimate on amount of wins we get? I think the absolute maximum with the current roster, if every single thing goes right, I'm talking all the question marks that the Red Sox have going into the season work out. Basically their entire rotation, basically their entire offense, right? Their defense get better. 86 wins is maximum potential. Now, realistically, I would say 81, 82 wins. What do I believe is a ceiling for Casas? It's a great question. Player-wise, comparing him to a player, Matt Olson maybe. I think Tristan Casas. Let's see, what did he? Yeah, Sitgo signed up behind me. I'm thinking about getting commissioned all the retired numbers and putting them right here. Oh, ad played. Sorry, my win prediction is I think a absolute maximum here for my win prediction. If every single thing goes right, 86. But that's absolute best case scenario. I think worst case scenario, you're looking at like 74 wins, and I think that's sort of middle ground right there, 81 to 82 wins. Is where I think the Red Sox end up, which is better than last year, but still probably last place in the division unless the Rays absolutely blow it out or the Blue Jays lose someone. What do I think is the ceiling for Grissom and Bay? I think Bayo. Bayo to me is maybe he'll never be a legitimate bona fide Cy Young caliber, but I think he could be a legit frontline starting pitcher. I think he very easily, if he takes one step forward, he is a number 2. If he takes 2 steps forward, he is an ace. Grissom, I think his ceiling is what we saw. I think his sort of ceiling is what we saw in 2022, which was solid, right? 291, 353 on base percentage, 440 slug with 5 homers. That's sort of the 119 OPS plus is sort of like the max for him, in my opinion, right? I think there could be a year where he's a 125, 130 maybe player, but I don't think it gets any better. I feel like we're the only AL East team that hasn't really gotten much better. But the Blue Jays haven't really done anything either. They've added Yariel Rodriguez, right? But that's it. They were in the reason people are kind of given. To be honest with you, the only 2 teams that have gotten legitimately better is the Yankees and the Orioles, right? I think a lot of people are giving the Blue Jays a pass because they were so in on Ohtani, but you really look at it and it's like, well, yeah, you get Justin Turner, that's great. You get Yariel Rodriguez, that's fine. You still can't get a visa, so all right, so maybe it's just Justin Turner heading the year. The Orioles or the Blue Jays need a lot more than that. They needed a left-handed thumper. They needed they needed multiple bullpen arms actually. Their bullpen wasn't very good last year. And then the Rays have just gotten worse. They've done what? They added Phil Maton, maybe? Was that his name? Phil Maton? I don't know how to pronounce it. I think they just added him and they traded away their best pitcher. Right? Manuel Margot's now with the Dodgers as well. They don't have Wander Franco anymore. They legitimately, the Rays got a lot worse. This roster is not better than last year's roster. That's just not true. Not a lot of power. Also don't think, oh, there's Jackson. Also not true. Wonder if the Red Sox could trade for guys like Max Meyer or Jack Leiter, talented arms that haven't panned out close to I would say Jack Leiter maybe. I would say Jack Leiter maybe. Max Meyer, I'd be pretty surprised if they were able to do that. Do you like the hiring of Theo Epstein to Fenway Sports Group? I'm happy to have him back in Boston. Of course I do. Starting rotation, yeah. I mean, obviously the starting rotation. Hey, Ethan. Yeah. I mean, the starting rotation's the biggest question mark. But to say our roster's worse than last year is just not true. I mean, think about it, right? You really think about the opening day of the Boston Red Sox. It was your rotation was Corey Kluber, Chris Sale, Cutter Crawford, Tanner Houck, and who's even the 5th one? Nick Pivetta? Yeah. Like that's at the very least this rotation will give you more innings, right? Should. And I think the positional player roster and the bullpen look about the same. I think it could even be better than last year. To start the year was Whitlock? No, he was injured last year, wasn't? Whitlock was injured last year. He didn't come back. Yeah, but that was an opening day. That was an opening day prodigy. Wish we still had Evaldi. I wish they kept Evaldi too. Oh yeah, he did start April 11th. Look at that. I thought he missed more time than April 11th though. When did he miss? Oh, April to May. All right, so we got hurt after 3 starts. Okay. That's where he got hurt. Man, poor Witt last year, man. He did not have a good season last season. Turner and Duvall gone. Yeah, that's fair, but you're also getting, sophomore season from Casas, sophomore season from Bayo. You're getting a more well-established Massa. You got Von Grissom with all that potential. Whatever Willier Abreu looks like. You're getting a fully healthy Trevor Story, which I think the most underrated part of the Red Sox in 24 is going to be Trevor Story. You're getting a fully healthy Trevor Story, right? So I think especially Duvall, the offense can be made up. You got O'Neill, who's going to be healthy at least for now. Well, what's up, Michael Murphy? How are you? Hey, I was just talking about Chris Murphy the other day, actually. I think Chris is going to be one of the more integral parts of the Red Sox bullpen this year. Let me see. Man, I can't wait for the season to start. I really don't care how bad it is. My standard is low because the first season I've really dived into is 23. I just need baseball. Well, there you go. There we go. Giolito is actually a great signing, too. He's going to be better than most people expect. I hope so. I really hope so. Which player are you going to watch the closest in spring training? Story for me. I am going to be watching O'Neill in terms of position players. I want to see how he looks coming off of all his injuries. And then it's the bullpen. I'm going to be totally focused on the bullpen. And then that 5th rotation. I mean, I guess it depends on what the next week looks like for the Red Sox. But I think I hate the most ridiculous argument I think people can make about Lucas Giolito is he led the league in home runs last year. You know how many times he's done that in his career, Rick? Take a gander. Take a guess as to how many times Lucas Giolito has led the league in home runs in his career. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. I just want to guess. But I really think the bullpen is going to be the most fascinating part of the spring training because there's just so many. Yeah, it was one singular time. Out of 8 years, Rick. Out of 8 years, he led the league in home runs once. Once. Right? Only 27 of those would have been home run at Fenway. Thank you, versatility. Yeah, to me, it's the worst argument you can make. But yeah, the bullpen with all the young arms in it and where they line up and whether or not they do with Kenley or what happens there is going to be the most interesting part of the spring training, in my opinion. And then it's how good do Story, O'Neill, I would even put Massa into that category a bit. Look, coming into this year. Oh, yeah, Joey. He also played for 3 teams last year, right? He played for the White Sox, the Angels, and the Guardians. It's a lot of teams. And he was really good with the White Sox. He was really good. He had a 3.79 ERA and a 4.43 FIP for a 1.18 ERA plus. It fell apart in the last 12 games. A majority of the games he played last year, he was a good pitcher. It was the last 12. Justin Slayton. Yeah, I like Justin Slayton too. Someone asked about Brian Mata. Mata is, I believe, aging out of options. Like it's either he's on the roster, you DFA him this year. Are we going to sign Soler? I wouldn't count on it, William. It's not looking good. That's what I'll say. I'm also going to start ramping up these live streams, by the way. Last year we did once a week. We'll go back to that, either Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays, depending on what the schedule looks like. I'm thinking about doing some spring training live streams. I don't know if that'll be fun for anyone, like a spring training But over the next couple of weeks here, we're gonna start getting into that every week kind of habit here as we get into the spring, which means next week we're either gonna do a full live stream or we are going to do a members only live stream. It's either gonna be this week or next week. Next week's next week's Valentine's Day, so we definitely can't do it on that day. God no. But we could do it the 13th or the 15th. We'll think about it. But I'm just thinking out loud. Thanks, Edgar. Yeah, man. Hunter was really awesome. Hunter was a really, really cool person to talk to. Hey, thanks, Austin. Sam Kennedy has crazy plans. Yeah, sure he does. We have Giolito we gave Giolito a cybernetic arm and heat-seeking target mapping implants into his eyes. He will put up a sub-2 ERA and win this Cy Young. They reported on the 15th. Oh, yeah, good point. All right, so maybe we'll do our members only the 15th. Or maybe we'll do our pub. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the dates. We'll figure it out. Who we playing on our first game? We always play Northeastern on our first game. And then we play the Astros. I'm looking at last year's schedule. Our first legitimate spring training game is February 24th at 1:05 p.m. against the Baltimore Orioles. Only 4 qualified AL hitters batted over 323. How would you like the hot take that Massa and Grissom do it in 24? That's a hot take. Yeah, I do like watching the Northeastern game. I think Grissom's a hot take. I think Massa could do it. I think Grissom's a hot take. I agree with you, versatility. He also said it. He went on Carabas's podcast, talked about, that, yeah, he was not in a good mental headspace for the last half of the year. And sometimes that happens when you're at your job. Thanks, Jonathan. Is there a way to get, live? Hey, what's up? Oh, man, I'm so sorry. I need to get your name down. Could you, spell out how to say it? Luapo? Luapo? Did I say that right? Jonathan, is there a way to actually chat in general? Is there a way to live translate this or no? Luapo? All right, perfect, Luapo. Again, I'm so sorry. Welcome back. I do it every time you come in here. I feel like a jerk, because that is kind of a jerk thing to do, but I swear I'm not doing it on purpose. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Hey, I like that you changed your name. Circle Track C10. I like that. Are you going to be posting more racing videos? If we make it to the playoffs, everyone in the stream, if I remember, will give everybody $1. So we'll all just keep our $1. How about everyone give me $1? If the Red Sox make the playoffs, I want everyone who told me they aren't making the playoffs to Venmo me $1. Giolito makes starts, which is important too, something we didn't have last year. Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot more innings. In my opinion, we're going to get a lot more innings out of the rotation. What those innings look like overall, I don't know, right? It could be really crappy innings. It could be decent innings. Could be really good innings. But I think between Bayo, Giolito, and God, do I want Montgomery, gives you a ton of innings. I have a bunch from last year on my channel. Oh, really? I didn't even know that, Tom. I got to take a look at that. Because I remember watching the one. There were a few we watched last year because we couldn't make it to them. But that's cool. Hey, Corbin, if we make the playoffs, I'll cash app you $20. Make it $100. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Chat, realistically, what do you think the actual name of the Red Sox documentary is going to be? Pavetta. That's a good point. Pavetta's a good one. Super Bowl pick. I want to say I want the San Francisco 49ers to win. The problem is betting against Mahomes right now is like betting against Tom Brady. I can't do it. I don't know where to put my money. I think I mean, on paper, it's the San Francisco 49ers, but how many times did people say that about the Patriots? On paper, blank should win. The Steelers, the Ravens, right? How many times do we see that? So, I gotta go. Kansas City, and I hate doing it. Dennis, how are you? That's why I want Monty so bad. He is 1 inning, eats innings, 2 pushes Houck, Pavetta, and Whitlock into the pen, which makes the pen better too. I will die on this hill. I do not care. The Red Sox need to sign Jordan Montgomery. They need to. They absolutely need to. It makes 0 sense. It makes 0 sense. It drives me insane. You stay under your stupid imaginary budget and you still get a pitcher that's going to put you into that conversation of, hey, if everything goes right, all right, Ethan, thanks for stopping by. If everything goes right, you could find yourself in a playoff spot. And then you've got Jordan Montgomery, who was great last year in the playoffs. You've got Lucas Giolito. I'm making myself crazy over here, chat. You don't understand. I literally... I'll make a video. Like I made the Jarren Duran trade video today, right? And I'll finish that and I'll get it out. And I'm like, man, that was a good video. But imagine what a Jordan Montgomery video would look like. Oh man, I need it. I need it so bad. It drives me like I do it every day because I make a video every day, right? And after that video is done, I'm like, hey, this will do well, I hope. But nothing will compare to if they sign Jordan Montgomery. Are there any good free agents left the Sox should look at? In my opinion, not it's Jordan Montgomery. Tom, that's it. It's just Jordan Montgomery. I think anyone else that they add at this point makes you marginally better in areas that you could get marginally better in. I don't think realistically, unless they want to do like a Blake Snell or something and really kind of blow people's socks off, which versatility is going to, in all caps, say no, not Snell. But in my opinion, outside of just Jordan Montgomery, it's sort of okay signings, right? You get... I don't even know if there's a pitcher like Clevenger, which I really don't want because, again, I've talked about this before, but I don't want to have to put aside my morals to root for my team. Yeah, there he is. Outside of Montgomery and Snell, there's not anyone that's pushing the needle. And I truly think Montgomery, if you don't get Montgomery and he ends up signing for 3 years somewhere else, I'm going to lose my mind. We're going to have a full video where I have the longest rant known to man. Jackson's going to love it. Everyone else is going to hate it. But I'm going to have the longest rant known to man about how stupid it is they didn't get him. The longer Snell and Monty stay on the market, the more likely I think that they take a high AAV short-term deal with someone. Seems like teams are balking at more than 4 years. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I do think Snell ends up taking a 4 or 5 year deal. I think Montgomery, you could get him on at some point you get him on a 3-year deal. Favorite NL team? Favorite NL team? I don't really have a favorite NL team. I would say maybe the Brewers because I really liked Ryan Braun when I was a kid. Obviously, it didn't work out well, but the Phillies is a good one. But I don't know. The Brewers for some reason, like with Ryan Braun when I was a kid. Braves a good one too. Phillies. I just want to see what good Red Sox baseball look like. I wasn't too into baseball until last year, and chasing the wild card felt like chasing a World Series to me. I need some good baseball. Honestly, chasing the wild card, if they get into a wild card spot, it's a lot of fun, man. I don't think Monty is sitting there. I think Monty is sitting there basically begging the Sox to sign him, and it's ridiculous if we don't. I don't know about begging, but I don't think his market's very big. I think the Red Sox are legitimately interested in him. I think what he's doing right now, versatility, is he's basically saying, hey, Just give me the extra year. Just give me the extra year. Right, that's all I'm asking. One more year, please. And the Red Sox are sitting there and be like, we'll wait a little bit and see if we have to do it. That's sort of what I'm thinking versatility, but I could also see him basically being like, hey, Red Sox, we like 98% match here, buddy. The only difference is you guys want younger. I'm a little bit older than you'd probably like. Everything else, you and me. It's you and me, right? It would be absolutely unbelievable if the Red Sox were sitting there listening to that and being like, buddy, we're good, you know? Matt Chapman on a 1-year deal, right-hand power, Gold Glove defense. Rafi goes to DH for a year. I've seen a lot of the Rafi to DH stuff, and I understand it, but you got to remember who Rafi is as a person, right? He's always said, I'm a third baseman that hits well. It's sort of always kind of what he said. What is that going to do to his psyche if you have him as a full-time DH? I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I don't care. He's a baseball player. Tough it out. You're paying the dude $300 million. $300 million. Even a single season, especially now that he's in his prime, wasted is an entire waste of that $300 million. Not all of it, obviously, but that 1 year, right? It's a full waste. So in my opinion, you wait. You wait until his prime is over. His bat more than makes up for his on-field antics most of the time, especially when the rest of the team is hitting well, right? It's really highlighted when he's not hitting super well and he's making errors, but he's still putting up the season he put up last year. If he put up the season he did last year and the rest of the team hit like the team did in 21, people would still be like, that's totally fine. Whatever. You made up for it, right? But because everything else was so highlighted, he got so highlighted. So I just think his bat makes up for it now. Let him stay at third base for his prime and then just DH him past 30. Wild card's probably the best case scenario this year. Yeah, that's the best case scenario this year. How do I feel about Grissom? I really like Von Grissom. I think he could be one of the more underrated players on this team. I think his contact ability is going to be super important in this lineup, and hopefully he can do that at a decent level at the major leagues consistently, more than a 40-game sample size. He's not begging like I'll sign for whatever. It's begging like I'd love to stay here. Just give me a good offer. Yeah, versatility. That's sort of exactly what he's doing, I think. Monty would replace Chris Sale. Expecting Chris Sale level production from him is something I wouldn't do. But in terms of a left-hander that throws a lot of strikes, that's okay. Ryan Braun, John Elway, and Chris Murphy all attended the same high school. Wow. Huh. More you know. Man, that's a loaded high school, huh? Especially once Chris Murphy becomes the left-handed bullpen ace specialist in 24. Now the streaming has been settled. Rangers haven't signed Monty yet, which is a good so far. Yeah, it is. Not signing Monty would be another reason to ruin my sleep schedule or to exclusively watch the NPB. 4 years, $100 million for Montgomery. Get it done, Sox. What's that, 25 a year? Honestly, does he get that this year? Like we have heard nothing. We've heard maybe the Phillies are a sleeper for Jordan Montgomery. And the only reason we've heard the Red Sox is because they're just such a perfect fit. The only team that has been confirmed to be legitimately in on him is the Texas Rangers. To me, that indicates, hey, there's 35,000 tweets about Casas right now. What's going on? Oh, just that he was the top, whatever. Unless the Phillies are legitimately a sleeper team, his market just isn't that. If the Sox don't sign Montgomery, it's 100% the worst offseason I can remember. I'm trying to think if there was even going into 2013, people were like, oh, this team's going to suck. But they got Shane Victorino. They got Mike Napoli. Did they get David Ross that offseason too? Like they got pieces. They didn't. Yeah. Hey, did we get Yamamoto yet? Not yet. He's still deciding. What's my lineup order right now? I got to write this down. I always give a different one every single time. I'm writing it down right now. Is ownership just giving up nowadays? I would say they care enough to put out. Like, I think their goal is to have a team that is consistently around 85 wins. To be totally honest with you, I think that's their goal, because what that means is, every couple of seasons you're sneaking your way into a playoffs, and then anything can happen, right? Diamondbacks, Rangers, both of them were both of them? Yeah, both of them were wild card teams. Oh yeah, 2011 was probably the worst. Okay, let me think this out. Okay, so right now it'd be Duran up top. Then it would be Devers. Then it would be, and the 3-hole would probably be Story right now, which I don't love. Like, Story I think has a potential to be there. I don't love them putting that pressure on him. Story 4 would probably be Massa. 5, do I put Casas at 5? I think I have to put Casas at 5, right? Casas. And then I would put O'Neill at DH right now. So O'Neill would be 1, 2, 3, 6. And then 7, probably Abreu. 8 would be McGuire. 9 would be Grissom, just so you have right, left, right, left. I think that's what I do. Duran up top, they don't trade him, yeah. Duran, Devers, Story, Massa, Casas, O'Neill, Abreu, McGuire, Grissom. That's how I think it would go down. You could even put Grissom a little bit higher up, depending. I would start him down low, though. In high school, I played third base and hit 175 and sucked at fielding. Then my coach put me at DH and I hit 400. Maybe that's the secret. I think that Henry thinks like Seattle when they actually said the quiet part out loud. It's about winning 54% of the time. Yeah, I think that's exactly where they're at right now. It sucks. I just think ownership really needs their feet held to the fire. They don't seem interested in the team. Problem is, right, I agree. How are you going to hold the feet to the fire, right? They had their worst attendance at Fenway Park in years last year. They had their worst at Nesson ratings in years last year, and they had no plans to spend this year, right? They had none. They go out and they make all these signs to get everyone pumped up, and then they do the absolute worst thing possible, which is bring everyone up here just to come crashing down as quickly as humanly possible. So I honestly don't know what's going to hold their feet to the fire, truly. Remember when JD wanted $200 million and signed 5 years, $110 million because Dave refused to budge? That's where we're at with the Snell and Monty, I feel like. Mark crashed after Yama signed. I could see that. Wade O'Neill where? So it'd be Jaron center field, Devers third base, Story shortstop, Massa left field or DH, Casas first base, O'Neill left field or DH, Abreu right field, McGuire catcher, Grissom second base. Duran, Story, Devers, Casas. Yeah, that'd be my 1 through. No, I would do Duran, Devers, Story, Casas. Imagine if they steal Soto from the Yankees next year. That'd be great. Yeah, that would be great. They had one of the highest profits last year with terrible attendance. Yeah, I mean, I wonder, my thing with those, like, most profitable franchises, do they include that owning the Red Sox also includes owning Nesson and owning WEI and owning the Boston Globe and owning a lot of the properties around Fenway as well as Fenway itself? Because then, yeah, no crap. They could have no one go and they'd probably be profitable. Why McGuire over Wong? I don't know, just to even out the lineup a little bit, I guess. You could go Wong. It doesn't really matter. Honestly, you have a lot of righties. That's the problem. The owners can, yeah, and we're still here talking about it. Yeah, that is the problem. But unfortunately, I'm not gonna stop doing this. But I do understand people not watching. Snell on the Yankees is a disaster waiting to happen. If he has one of his average seasons making $35 million a year, he'll be crushed there. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I don't think he ends up with the Yankees. No, I think he ends up taking like a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal with an opt-out after second year and third year with like the Angels or the Mariners or something like that. I don't know why those two popped into my head, but I wonder if our trade deadline heats up with all the cameras. I think it was heating up either way. I think that's sort of one of the bigger reasons why they brought Blake Snell. Now I'm on a Blake Snell tangent. Craig Breslow in was because they wanted to do something at the deadline. Oh yeah, Pac-Man. It depends on the contract. If he goes back to the Rangers for like 6-2-10, no, probably not. But if he goes to like say the Phillies for 3 years, $75 million, you bet I'm making a video. Will anyone give Tim Anderson another shot, or is he done? Kind of surprised no one has. I would say eventually someone's going to give him a shot. Yeah, I think he'll sign like a 1 year, maybe even a minor league contract with an invitation to spring training. I think someone will give it a shot. Do you agree that the Yankees are projected to win the division? I would put the Orioles up there. After getting Corbin Burns, I think it's pretty clear they won what, 100 something? They won 102 games last year. A 101. Yeah. I mean that you got okay, so it's the same team, but now more experienced, and with Corbin Burns, they have to be the favorites. They have to be. Can Tim Anderson play the outfield? No. I could see the Anderson to the Royals, but they just signed Bobby Witt for a long time. One day, chat, one day we'll be live and something crazy will happen. Royals are actually spending this year. That extension's exactly what I need the Red Sox to do with Tristan Casas. Don't care that Bobby's worth more. He is. But that's what I want for Casas. Someone called me a fanboy today. Yeah, no crap. I am a fanboy of Tristan Casas. The thing I was thinking about with the O's was, well, they will only get 6 years out of this because they won't re-sign him, but now the new owners were in trouble. Big trouble. But Royals have the highest luxury tax in the Central right now. I mean, that makes sense. Who else would be? Wonder how much ownership is making off that Netflix deal. Directly from that Netflix deal, Christian, not $1. Sleeper team for the 2024 season with the roster as is. What is a sleeper team? The Royals. The Royals are a sleeper team. If their rotation works out, they're definitely a sleeper team. I could see. I knew that was coming, and I kept talking. I don't know why I did. I could see the Reds or the Cardinals. Are the Royals even over the luxury tax? I don't think so. Current Royals payroll. Oh, they don't even have the Bobby Witt in here. Oh, no. Yeah, there it is. No, they're not close. They're at like 100 and something million. It's crazy to me that Salvador Perez is only 32. He's 34. Was Bayo a high pitching prospect heading into last year? I forget. He wasn't a prospect anymore. I think when he was at his peak. Let's see. Brian Bayo peak top. He was at 1.19. Oh, no, on the Red Sox. Okay. Let me see where he was in, what was it, 22 maybe he was a top prospect? Yeah. Top 100. Red Sox. He wasn't on the top 100 list? Wow. Highest money toward the luxury tax is what I mean. They aren't over. Yeah, I know what you mean. Blake Snell to the Sox. Let's go. What? Imagine I just missed that. Bayo not being top 100 guy is crazy. So we could pay for Netflix subscription and not players. Not the same thing, JB. And I don't even. What does that even mean? $7 years, $210 million. You are Jeff Passan. Well, tweet it out, bro. What are you doing? Come on. I want to talk about it. 7 years would be nuts for Blake Snell. Have we still only signed one pitcher? Yes. Sox fans, we want to start rotation. Ownership. How about a Netflix series? Yeah, Snell wanted a lot of years. Glennell's a nice guy. I just don't believe anything he says. In all fairness to that, Christian, the Netflix series has been in the works since 21, so maybe they were waiting for the cameras to start rolling to really start doing something. Snell wanted 9 years, $270 million was what he wanted, I think. Don't know why the Red Sox were chosen, because they were probably chosen 3 years ago. The Red Sox aren't getting paid. JB. I'm going on a central road trip to see the Red Sox, St. Louis, Cincinnati, and Detroit. Wow, that'll be a fun time. I want to get out to Detroit. Not to sightsee in Detroit, but to go to their stadiums. It looks pretty fun. Is Theo running the Penguins too? Theo's not running anything. He's not running anything. He's advising GMs. That's what he's doing. He's not running anything. He's not running the Red Sox. Yeah, 2004 Red Sox documentary is going to be sick. I can't wait for that. Blake's, no. Yeah, he won 9 years, $270 million. No, Pac-Man. Come to Toronto? I'd love to. No updates, JB. No updates. Looks like each side is waiting out the market. We'll see which side wins. Detroit Stadium is nice, but Seattle is very cool. Seattle, huh? Jackson, you're going to sign off, and immediately he's going to sign. Thanks for coming by, man. Jimmy Fallon do one? I mean, if you count Fever Pitch as a documentary, sure. The 4 Days in October is the best one. Then maybe I'll take a look into going to Seattle at some point. Yeah, at some point. Maybe if I ever do this full time, I'll do like a vlogging road trip. Hey, what's good, Arlen? Comerica's very nice. Yeah, I've seen people do that. What will the Red Sox documentaries be about? One will be about the 2004 Red Sox, and the other one is following the team, kind of like Hard Knocks for the season. Thankfully, ownership is old. What? It was ironic how Fever Pitch worked out. Yeah, that is. Yeah, the story behind that's really interesting. They were going to make the documentary anyways, and the Red Sox won. So they were like, we gotta keep doing it. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. It was supposed to be about him following a losing team and staying faithful. Then they won. Yeah, which is wild. Hey, maybe. Chat. Look, I'm not saying that there are parallels here, but right. But 20 years later, ends in a 4. Instead of Pedro, you got Bayo. Instead of Poppy, you got Devers. No one ever expects you to do it. I'm just saying there are some parallels here. I'm just saying. This is a really expensive offseason to go out and get a top pitcher. In my opinion, paying top notch for Monty or Snell doesn't seem like a great idea. I'm holding out hopes for a trade with the Marlins. I'd still love one, but I don't know. I don't know how much of a premium they're going to have to pay for a Snell or a Montgomery with the way their market's going. Versus, will you just let me have it? Just let me have it. Yes, the 2024 Red Sox don't have a Kurt Schilling. They don't have a Mark Bellhorn. They actually do have a Dave Roberts, a little bit, actually. They don't have a... they don't have a Trot. Oh, that sounds like a lovely place, Hardneck. No, Uke. Yeah, Uke wasn't on the team in 2004. Who would Casas be? Didn't Mark Bellhorn win a batting title that year? Manny? Oh, yeah. Tristan Casas is Manny. No Tech. Uke got called up during the playoffs. I don't really think he was a major factor in the 2004 team. Yeah, he got called up in 2004. How'd he do? He played 72 games, league average. Was he on the postseason roster? I don't even know. Game logs, postseason. He played one game in 2004 and got 2 at-bats and struck out both times. Best unsung hero of any of the 4 World Series? God, I don't even know. Yes, Gritty. I'm just trying to have some fun. Oops. Crap. Late to the party. Yes, you are, Peter. We're losing it. It sounds like they have a lot of Ukes. What? Vintage. I don't know if that was trying to be funny, but that really didn't make any sense. Of course I had to mess with it, chat. Of course I did. It was in a perfect position. All right, I did it. We're back. No fun here. Yeah, apparently I'm not allowed to make a joke in this comment section because people will be like, well, actually, Keith Folk, is that what the Folk? It was what the Folk. Haha. Oh. Yeah, Keith Folk is one underrated person you could put in there. Steve Pearce, he won the World Series MVP. I know that, but he's, in my opinion, still underrated. If people forget about it. Jeez, guys. I know we've had a tough offseason, but it's okay to joke about things once in a while. No shot we're coming in here. Steve Pearce was certainly not 07. No shot we're coming in here mad that the Red Sox didn't sign Fujinami, right, Rax? Oh, that's a good one, Hardneck. Can we do a Sporkle Red Sox quiz? I'll probably hop off here soon, but maybe next week we can do one. Maybe that's what we'll do in our members only. We'll do quizzes. Doug McNansky. Steely, where are we? What are you talking about? Yeah, Swire was good for a little bit. Fujinami's so good, though. Let me see. Did he even qualify for Baseball Savant? He's saying most underrated still? Yeah. Kevin Millar. Fujinami is red in 3 categories on Baseball Savant. That is fastball velocity, 98.4. Extension, pretty good. How tall is he? Doesn't tell me on here. Oh, yeah, it does. 6'6". Makes sense. Whiff rate, 78th percentile. Pretty good. Outside of that, he walked a ton of people. He got hit really hard. He gave up no ground balls. His fastball was about 24% below average in terms of its run value. Its breaking ball was about 37% below average. And his off-speed run value was about 38% below average. Not exactly fantastic. That's what I'll say. When the Red Sox sold the team in 2002, did they spend money off the bat? 03? Not for that contract, though, King. What did he end up getting? With the Mets, right? He signed with the Mets. $3.35 million for this guy? No. And $850,000 incentives? I'm good with that. If he had signed for like $1 million, I'd be like, yeah, the Red Sox probably could have taken a flyer on that, but notable transactions. They got Gabe Kapler. They got Bill Hasselman, Byung-Hun Kim, Scott Sobacher, Mike Gonzalez. Chad Fox was released by the Red Sox to get Scott Williamson, Freddie Sanchez to the Pittsburgh Pirates for Jeff Suppen, Dave McCarthy, and Lou Merlone. Outside of that, no, not really. Give you completely control of the Red Sox? Why? What'll that do? Oh, here we go. Chris Coste, Jeremy Giambi, Bill Mueller, David Ortiz was picked up, and Kevin Millar. So, no, not a lot of money, but some solid pickups. I would get Monty and Luzardo. That's all I want. That's all I want. I'm a simple man. What do you think the Red Sox should do with Dahlbeck? Would love to see him play more, but I don't see it happening unless there's two. I hate where the heart is on this pop-up on the chat. Why do they put it there? Why would they put it right in the corner where it's taking up room? Why wouldn't they put it next to the chat? Someone else chat so I can see what the rest of the sentence says. Thank you. Okay, now let's reread the question. What do you think the Red Sox should do with Dahlbeck? Would love to see him play more, but I don't think it's happening unless he's there to fill in for someone on the IL. Honestly, if they don't get a lot of, or anyone else for this lineup, I could see him getting some reps at first and third base. They need a backup first baseman, and he could play third base, allow Devers to take some time off his feet and play DH. And also gets Bobby some ABs. I could see it happening, but I also think they're trying everything in their power to make a roster spot open and get him out of here. But, what do I know? The closer we get to spring training, the more it seems like that might be the move. I checked YouTube's terms of service, and the fine print says when Red Sea Radio reaches 10 Ks, he'll gain full control of Boston Red Sox. My daughter is 12, bought her a PC and desk setup to pay me for it. She paints my nails once a week for 6 months. I feel like Costas. That is awesome, hard neck. If Costas wins MVP this year, I'll paint my nails for an entire year. For the 2025 season, I'll paint my nails every week. You can clip that. If Tristan Costas wins an MVP, I'll do it. 100%. All right, chap. Manicure vlog. I will legitimately do a manicure vlog if he wins MVP in 2024. I kind of think they want Bobby to get some time to drive up his costs so they can trade him or something. Yeah, but what's the point of doing that? There's he's already 26, 27. He's had one successful major league experience, and it was 2 years ago. Now it'll be 3 years ago. I don't know. I hope Padres and Red Sox make a trade. We need a first baseman and an outfielder. You guys don't really, unless you want to trade us Joe Musgrove, you don't really have anything we want. Did I see it live? The home run off of Chapman? What was that? Devers' first home run? I think so. If the Red Sox don't spend this offseason, when do you think they will? Honestly, I don't know. Massa hits 300 with 20 home runs and 100 RBIs. That is a bold prediction. That is a very bold prediction. I was going to look something up, and I totally forgot what I was going to do. I forget. Either way, chap, I figured we'd start ramping up this sort of every week experience of doing these. That's the crazy thing about Bobby, man. He was literally 28, turning 29 in a few months. Yeah, that's the problem, right? You add in his age. He doesn't have – I think he has maybe one option left. I don't even know. I don't think Fangraphs tells me. No, it doesn't. I don't know how many options he has left. Not a lot. And the last legitimately successful season he had was 2021, right, where he's at a 107 OPS plus. So you're 28 going into your age 29 season. Haven't had success in 2 years. Getting closer to my 66 years a Red Sox fan, and as soon as spring training starts, I'll get really excited as every year. Good night to all. Thank you, Corbin. Appreciate you big time. Thanks for coming by, Dennis. Only a couple weeks away, my friends. Actually, one singular week away till we have actual baseball to talk about. And we don't really have to worry too much about the offseason anymore. Although, of course, we're going to be talking offseason grades, all that good stuff. But we're so close to baseball. Sorry, just got out of work. We trade for Trout yet? No, not yet, Floyd. One day you're going to come in here and you're going to say something, and it will have happened. And it'll be the best day of your life. And I will feel really happy for you. In all fairness, any of my predictions this offseason have been dead wrong. But that's also because I had a lot of faith in the Red Sox front office, and I shouldn't have. Nova Scotia's got a lot of Red Sox fans. Well, hey, if any of them need a place to go, if anyone need a place to go. But I appreciate you stopping by, Keegan. Thank you so much, man. I'm glad you like these lives. I have a ton of fun with you guys. Yeah, maybe versatility, but even then, I think people will be super nervous about trading him anything. Hey, the Red Sox have the best offseason signings in the front office, though. That's true. Breslow, Bailey, Dio, Driveline guy. I always forget his name. You know what I'm talking about. Either way, chat, thank you so much for stopping by. I want to do another quick one. We're starting to ramp ourselves. I'm trying to get back into the routine with both you guys and me doing one of these every single week. So next week, I think we'll just do members only, and then we'll do another one a week after that. But either way, really appreciate you guys sticking by with this sort of last-minute trip live stream talking about the movie documentary series and everything. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for hanging in with me for basically 2 hours. Appreciate all of you. All the new members, all the old members, everyone in chat. Thank you so much. If you haven't hit that sub button yet, we're getting so close to 1,000. I can feel it. So make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button. Helps these videos out a ton and would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. And my stream just crapped out, so I will see you